I think this is a good question. Maybe a little bit conspiracy theory-ish, although food for thought. Who's paying for this war? Could it be potentially the money from Venezuelan oil? Watching Donald Trump on the tarmac when he said that the question was who's going to be running the straight, and he said, well, they don't know who's going to be on the Iranian side contributing, though it might end up being him as the partner. That gave me the idea. Could potentially Venezuelan oil be paying for some of this conflict at least? As he said, on the same said tarmac, it's going very well over there. And that's the model they'll like to reproduce in Iran. All being, well, best case scenario for the US at the moment. Well, only time will tell. So let's get into this clip of Donald Trump making this, you could say, statement that moved the stock market, at least on the tarmac. Let's get it.
Control that they have. Let's put A4 up here on the screen. So the speaker of the Iranian parliament, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. I apologize. The Israelis and the U.S. were saying that he was the person they're negotiating with. Immediately after those reports break, here's what he puts out. Our people demand the complete humiliating punishment of the aggressors. All officials stand firmly behind their leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations with America have taken place. Fake news is intended to manipulate financial oil markets to escape the quagmire in which America and Israel are trapped. So it actually does appear as if they have, look, maybe he took a phone call or not. We have no idea, right? But what we do know is that he's at the very least pressured internally for him to actually come out and deny this. And you know why? We know some of this. Trump let it kind of slip. Trump was asked on the tarmac yesterday, who are you talking to? He says a top person, and I can't tell you who it is. I don't want them to be killed. Let's put A6 and let's take a listen.
Steve Witkoff speaking with, Mr. President. A top person, don't forget. We've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader.
President, you deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. Nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country, but perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
So he says he can't tell you who it is because he doesn't want them to be killed. Now, they might be killed by the Iranians. They also could be killed by the Israelis, okay, right? So let's not forget. There's a lot of people who might be killing them. The second thing is that he's obviously flailing on the Straits of Hormuz. So, for example, somebody asked him, he said, who's going to be in control of the Straits of Hormuz? Someone says he says it'll be jointly controlled by who? He said, maybe me and the next Ayatollah. Take a listen to that.
But the Strait of Hormuz, who's going to be in control of that?
That'll be opened very soon if this works.
How soon? And who's in control of it? Will Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me. Maybe me.
You want the United States to be
me and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Look at Venezuela, how well that's working out. We are doing so well in Venezuela with oil and with the relationship between the president-elect and us. And maybe we find somebody like that in Iran.
Still has Venezuela fantasies after the war continues to spiral. Says me, the next Ayatollah.
He's
so what does that
child.
mean? I don't acknowledge the current Ayatollah, so I might have to kill the current Ayatollah. These things can only be accomplished through massive ground force invasion, nuclear weapons. I mean, I hate to say all these things, but there's just no other option. Like, if you have the only off-ramp is basically surrender, which, I mean, as you said, his psyche, not just his psyche, think about it, like, something I've been thinking about a lot is what Joe Kent told me is one of the reasons he resigned to trying to put pressure is he said, I've been inside and I know how the CENTCOM machine gets rolling. And what he means by that is that there are not guys, the Joint Staff Planning Forces, they don't view themselves as political, but they have lived for this in a lot of ways. So when the president is like, I need all options on the table, they're like, oh, we've been working on this for 40 years. And they start pulling stuff off the shelf, 82nd Airborne, Marine Expeditionary Force. And once that stuff starts to get into the system, the machinery, think about how hard it is to roll it back. Because now they're like, well, we've got to finish the job. It's a military objective. Nobody ever sits back. This is the job of the president and his advisors to be like, is any of this a good idea? Should we be doing this at all? And that machine, as we see, the carriers still on their way, the Marine Expeditionary Forces converging, 82nd Airborne planes that are all coming over. Once that stuff starts, it's very hard not to use it because now it's in theater, might as well be an option. You take, like I talked about Kennedy yesterday, a supreme act of courage and genuine intelligence to say, no, we're not doing any of this. This is madness. We don't see that right now in the Situation Room. So if you take that rhetoric and you take the stuff that's all on its way, what other conclusion can you draw?
Yeah.
Same with the Iranians. They're so confident right now. It's scary. I mean, and I think, don't take my words for it, take Treatise. Like, he is genuinely worried they're going to overplay their hands and it will lead to their total and complete annihilation. To their detriment and to ours. It'll be bad for everybody who's involved.
I mean, he just, in all his comments and in his decision making, he really has this like childlike understanding of the world. They leaked to Politico. I guess even Barack Ravid wasn't buying this bullshit that the Ghalibaf, the guy who we put up his tweet earlier, and that Trump was sort of alluding like, oh, we've got a top guy that we're talking to, and of course they're completely denying it. Anyway, somebody leaked to Politico like, oh, he's a hot option right now. It's like, this is not Venezuela, number one. Number two, you're just completely full of shit. Number three, you think you're just gonna like swap out some characters in the entire country of Iran with some like 93 million people. It's gonna be yours. I mean, it's so insane. And this has been apparently the thinking from the beginning of Trump of like, oh, if we just murder the Ayatollah, then it'll all be ours and we can play him like puppets and do whatever we want. The military knew that was not going to be the case, but he didn't want to listen to them because he had his own idea about like, well, it worked in Venezuela and Bibi tells me it'll work here, so we're just gonna go for it. I mean, it truly is such a like kindergarten level understanding of the world. And that comes out too when he's like, oh, maybe me and the Ayatollah are going to control the Strait of Hormuz together. The Iranians put out a meme, did you see this in response, Sagar, that was like, it was like a car where you have the normal steering wheel and then you have the kid's steering wheel there that obviously doesn't do anything, where it's like, oh, he's pretending to drive the car, et cetera. I mean, just complete mockery of this man because the whole thing is so stupid and so insane. But the bottom line is, today, Trump is actually not really in a position to say when this war ends or how it ends. That is on Iran and it's on Israel. He has ceded so much control to the Israelis that, even if he wants to end the war today, and I think it's possible he does want to end the war today, the Iranians get a say and the Israelis, because of our weakness and our desire, our decision to cede so much of our foreign policy to them, they get a say as well. And that's why this thing is such an incredible, intractable mess heading towards quagmire.
Yeah, and why we shouldn't have gotten into it in the first place. Put
Exactly.
A5 up there on the screen. This was from the Prime Minister of Israel. He says, earlier today, I spoke with President Trump. Believes there's an opportunity to leverage the tremendous achievements to realize the goals of the war through an agreement that will safeguard our vital interests. But he continues, just a few days ago, we eliminated 2 more nuclear scientists. We are still active. We will safeguard our vital interests under all circumstance. At the same time, we are going to continue to strike in both Iran and Lebanon. We are smashing the missile program, the nuclear program. We continue to deal severe blows with Hezbollah. And as we'll show you all later, the strikes continue unabashed and completely. So as of where things stand right now, the negotiations don't appear to be going anywhere. And if they do meet, the two sides are very, very far apart. I find it incredibly hard to believe that the vice president would be in Islamabad sometime this week. Also, on the Steve Witkoff front, well, what do the Iranians say? Why would we trust you? We met with you twice. We got bombed both. I do not trust you, period.
My oh my, what do we believe here? Fact or fiction? Fake news? What is the truth and what is, yes, say, less than believable information? Is there a play here to kind of influence or affect the money markets? Okay, Thank you for spending time as usual with myself here at CornerSpeak on UADA. Before we check out, I'd just like to have a quick word for my video sponsors, smalldebts.co.uk. If you're having any problems, any online purchases, or somebody scammed you and you need somebody in your corner, they're the ones. Check them out. The information's in the description, smalldebts.co.uk.
At Small Debts, our tenant advocate service fights to get your money back. No stress, no hassle. Take control today. Visit smalldebts.co.uk and start your case
an
now.
Accounts team without the hiring costs. Small Debts provides full service invoicing and credit control, managing everything from invoice submission to reminders and follow-ups. We can send emails from your domain or ours. Let Small Debts keep the cash flow rolling whilst you focus on growing the business.
They'll always have your back. Really, look them up. So, myself, only idea here at CornerSpeak. Be good, be safe, be creative, as I like to say. For now, don't forget, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet subscribed and leave your comments so I can get back to you. I want to hear what you've got to say. For now, we're out.